I am so excited for this week's vlog. There are two amazing things happening. The first one is my first Christmas party in the new company that I am so excited for. I really love people there. And on December 9, we're getting together in the office earlier to do the Christmas Santa gifts. And then we go to the restaurant that we booked for approximately 5 hours to have Christmas dinner and to have drinks and enjoy the time. I just cannot wait for that. And the second thing that I am super grateful for is that we are finally starting a book club. It's going to be me, two of my partner's sisters, and his sister-in-law. We all love reading and we all love talking about books. So I am beyond grateful for these wonderful ladies, and I'm very excited to jump into this journey with them. We decided to do one book per month. We are starting with the month of December. We have already selected our first book, and I actually already made quite a dent in that book, but I will talk about it a little bit later. There are quite a few questions that we were discussing before starting the book club, just to make sure that we are on the same page and that the rules of the book club work for everyone. Luckily, we do like the same genre, so I don't think that I will be reading something too far out of my comfort zone. At the same time, I feel like this is the whole purpose of the book club, to kind of get exposed to new genres. I am very excited for that. I'll probably be reading books that I would probably not have picked up by myself. So I'm super excited to make my horizon bigger. Obviously, we're gonna have a book club name. We decided to talk about it during our first meeting on December 27. I do have some ideas in my head that I'm excited to share, but I'm not gonna share it just now because I'm still in the process of thinking what can work the best. And probably we're gonna make merch too. We're gonna have shirts or t-shirts and definitely mugs. And the last thing that obviously we wanted to touch on is whether we're gonna only read standalone books or parts of the series as well. I'm personally for both. I sincerely love series, so I would not mind if someone picks the first book in the series, because again, if I love it, it means that I have the whole series to read ahead of me, and this is exciting on its own. So I would probably be the one who would pitch the series. However, I also don't mind standalone books. So many different standalone books that are so good, and I enjoyed over the past couple of years. So yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I do have a certain structure in place when I read the book, analyze it, and rate it. My reading structure is based on the 4 pillars. The first pillar is the plot. And when I'm thinking about the plot, whether I escaped from the real life, was I feeling engaged, was the promise of the book delivered, was it well structured, cohesive, and balanced? That's very important for me. Was the pacing good? Were there interesting twists and good ending? Were there any interesting tropes? And what was the love story? Also, it's not important for me, doesn't affect my rating, but it definitely a thumbs up in case there were important social topics addressed in the book. However, if there were no topics addressed, that's absolutely okay, but it's just a plus for me if they were. The next one is the world building. This is the kind of overall perception of this world. Where it was set, can I vividly imagine it in my head? Do I want it to be adapted in the TV series or a movie? Do I want to experience and visit this world again? Also, does the author expand the world? Pillar 3 for me is the character development, and this is probably my second most important pillar. If I don't like the characters, I do not read the book, and I need to see if the character development was logical and I want to feel the connection with the characters. And the most important is the character motivation. I want to understand the motive behind their actions. Otherwise, if it doesn't make sense to me, it also doesn't make sense why I'm reading this book. And pillar 4, this is my top 1 pillar because for me, it just summarizes everything. And this is emotional attachment. This pretty much comes down to whether I want to experience this book again. Do I want a part 2? Do I want continuation of this book? And also how likely I am to recommend this book and vouch for this book. These are the pillars that I'm going to be using during our discussions in the book club. I'm very very excited to also know what other girls in the book club have used or use to estimate and to assess the books. Maybe they have some other bullet points, some other pillars that are very important to them. So it will be fun to see and maybe to borrow something and combine different perspectives on the book rating. As for the first book that we selected for the book club, this is the romance book. It's called Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. And oh my gosh, I gotta say that I am completely in love with this book. I picked it up twice and I'm already on page 167. This book is so hard to put down. It is actually the second book in the series. There are 4 or 5 books. You can read all these books separately. You don't really have to read them in order. You can just pick up any book. This is the book of the month of December. The Undercover Bromance is pretty much a book about the book club investigation, and obviously it is a romance story. This book is following Mac. And Mac is one of the guys in the book club that love reading romance novels. And I feel like this on its own is a very unique storyline. The book itself says the most intensive, refreshing concept in rom-coms this year. And I completely agree. I've never heard of anything like that. Men reading romance novels to fix their relationship with their partners or to build a good sustainable relationship. So this book is following Mac. He's amazing. I love him so much. He has a great sense of humor. He's very handsome. Everyone loves him. He's this charming personality, but he has hard time finding a girlfriend. He doesn't get too involved in the relationship. And then another storyline is Liv, and she's a pastry chef in this amazing world-class restaurant, and she got fired because she found the head chef sexually harassing another employee, the hostess of this restaurant. The head chef said that her career is pretty much over because she was trying to threaten him, and he kicked her out, and she decided to go for revenge. Mac gets to know about what happened there, about the situation, and he decides to help Liv to go for the revenge. And he also tells his friends in the book club. So now we have the book club with Mac and Liv trying to expose the chef. I don't even care that much about the storyline. What I love about this book is Mac. His character is amazing. There is so much depth in his character. I feel like the author really went all in on expressing the personalities of each and every character in this book. I really enjoy reading about him and noticing the chemistry between him and Liv. They are also grumpy and sunshine. He is absolutely 100% sunshine, and Liv is a grumpy one, and she annoys me sometimes. Mac is rich and he owns several nightclubs, and she often pinpoints of how much money he spends on the food and clothing. I mean, if it's something that makes him happy, I don't see what's wrong about it. Like, you kind of shouldn't tell other people how they want to spend their money or make fun out of it. If he earns this much and he's able to spend this much, it's totally okay. She has a lot of misconceptions about men that I think are based off of her childhood and the relationship with her dad. I didn't get to know yet what happened in their relationship, but there was probably something messed up in her family when she was young. That's why she doesn't trust men, and she kind of puts this cover of this badass, I don't care about anything gal. However, inside she's probably hurting, and she does want to trust someone, but she doesn't know how yet. And I feel like if she gonna trust anyone, Mac would be the guy who would break this shield and would make her see the man in a different light. I will do a little bit of reading today. I do have to go to the nail salon and have my nails done, so I don't think I'll have a lot of free time to read in the evening. I'm hoping to finish this book in the next couple of days. Cannot wait to know how it's gonna end. It's the next day. I am planning to go to the library real quick because I just realized that the books that I read a couple of days ago are due tomorrow. So while I have my break at work, I'm gonna run down there. It's good that the library is so close to my home. It's literally 5-minute walk, and this library is amazing. There are pretty much any books there that I ever wanted to read. The books that I am returning today are In the Company of Witches by Aurelie Wallace. I hope I pronounced it right. It was a good book. It was a nice, cozy, folly detective book. The story of the three witches, two aunts and their niece, who are managing an inn, and then someone was murdered in this inn, and then they're trying to uncover who murdered this person. It was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I would never think about this book ever again. Another book that I'm returning is Demon in the Wood, a Shadow and Bone graphic novel. I read it in probably a couple of hours. And this is pretty much the prequel to Shadow and Bone series. Before he led Ravka's second army, before he created the Fold, and long before he became the Darkling, he was just a lonely boy burdened by an extraordinary power. This is a little piece of story of Darkling when he was young, when he was traveling with his mother. It was fun. I think I gave it 4 stars out of 5. And the last but not the least, the book that I am so obsessed about, it is also a graphic novel. It took me a long time to read it because this is really professionally done. There is a lot of interesting illustrations to look at, and it is book 1 of the Sandman series. The illustrations in this book are amazing. The author and the designer did a really good job. I was interested in this book because I wanted to see if it differs in any way from the TV show that I absolutely loved as well. And I gotta say that I do like the TV show a little bit better. I think the changes that they have done in the TV show make way more sense. However, this book is also for me a 5-star book. I would definitely continue reading this series when I have a little bit of a free time to get to a new graphic novel. There are 2 chapters in this book that haven't made into the TV show, and one of these chapters really, I believe, should be there. It is the chapter of Nada, the story of Nada and the Dream Lord. Remember the time when he was in hell, and then there was this woman who was saying that she loves him and he was asking him to forgive her. So we get to know what happened. We get to know how she ended up in hell. And the second one wasn't really memorable. I think I kind of skimmed through it. I wasn't really engaged with this part of the story. Overall, once again, 5 stars, and now I'm running to the library to get a new book that is ready for me to pick up, and that one is a Christmas book. Okay, we are back. The book that I got for my December TBR was actually not in my original TBR, and I found out about this book after I did that video. And the book that I got is Enigma of Room 622. I've never read anything by this author before. When I read the synopsis of this book, I'm like, okay, I have to read it during Christmas time. A writer named Joelle, Switzerland's most prominent novelist, arrives at the Hotel de Verbier, a luxury resort nested in the Swiss Alps. Disinherited over his recent breakup and the death of his longtime publisher, Joelle hopes the impromptu getaway will be enough to revive his spirit and jumpstart progress on a new novel. However, his plans quickly go awry. Before long, Joelle and fellow guest Scarlett uncover the hotel's long unsolved murder in room 622. So what I believe is going to happen is that they will jump on trying to solve this murder. The events are happening over December, so it's over Christmas time. That's why it's the best of both worlds. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas romances and romances in general, but this sounds like my cup of tea because it is murder mystery and it is happening during Christmas time. This is quite a chunky book too. It is 574 pages. So the plan for me is to finish the Undercover Romance, the book that I'm reading for the book club, and then jump right into this one. And then another book is ready to pick up to in another library, my partner's library, where I also request books depending on which books arrive earlier, my library, his library. And this book that is available to pick up, I'm gonna pick up next week, and that will probably be my final book of the Christmas season. Okay, now back to work. By the way, I think I am obsessed with my new nail design. Just look at that. How cute are these nails? this little Rudolph and the Christmas ribbon, and look at this snowflake. So pretty. I'm just so happy with how it turned out this time. I am so ready to go to the party. I'm so excited. I have my Secret Santa gift here for Deb. This is the girl in our company. And to be honest, I didn't know what to get them because I'm working for this company for 3 months and I don't really know people that well. So I decided to go a safe route and I went to Lush and I got her their seasonal bath bombs. So I'm gonna go to the office. In the office, we're gonna have some drinks and we're gonna do our Secret Santa. And then we're gonna go to the restaurant where we booked the table for, I think it's gonna be 15 of us. And we booked it from 5 to 9 and we have a 3-course dinner there. I'm so ready to start Christmas festivities. She has been sexist for at least 3 times during their conversations.
What the hell?
I know, and the man is like, wow, like you sound sexist.
And she's still
And
sexist.
Exactly, and she still kept doing
Pretending like
that.
it's okay.
Pretending like that's totally fine.
Yet she knows. Oh my god, that's so weird.
I remember when I read the first 100 pages, I was super excited about the plot. I was very interested. I kind of liked the dynamics between the main two of the main characters, Mac and Liv, and I wanted to see how the relationship is going to be evolving. However, something changed 180 at some point. It started to be very bad. Let's talk about the good things. I loved the idea of men creating a book club. They are pretty much reading romantic novels to understand their partners better. So I feel like this is a very interesting idea. I've never come across this idea. However, I should say I was expecting to get a little bit more of a book club scenes in this book that there were. I think there were only couple, and I was hoping that there will be more times that they would actually get together to discuss a book. I did like that half of the narration was from the male's perspective, from Mac's perspective, especially since this is the only character that I really liked. The only character whose motivation I understood. He was sweet and charming. He has a wonderful sense of humor. I laughed in this book so many times. He was portrayed as a successful man who has his own insecurities, who also has a hard time building a relationship with other people. I don't understand how you cannot be charmed by Mac, so I do not understand Liv at all. Obviously, this book is enemies to lovers, and this is one of my favorite tropes in romantic novels, so I did appreciate that as well. For me, this book had so much potential to be one of the top romantic novels that I've ever read. It spiraled down quite fast. First things first, the main character, the girl character Liv, is extremely annoying. She's probably one of the most annoying characters that I've ever read. If not for Mac, I would not even continue reading this book. She has so much mess inside her that she really needs to clean up with a therapist. She has a lot of insecurities that really affect other people in a very negative way. So for me, she was one of the most unattractive characters in this book. She is also, as you have already heard, is extremely sexist. Her sexist comments towards Mac made me very, very annoyed and irritated. I was also very annoyed how she kept making comments on how Mac spends his money. He is a wealthy man. He didn't inherit his fortune. He worked really, really hard. He's the owner of several nightclubs in the city. He worked hard for his money. Anyone can spend their money the way they want to spend it. I did not understand why she even made the comments of how he spends his money. He buys expensive clothing and shoes and whatnot. It's none of your business. She also exaggerated everything, and she made all of the conflicts and all of the situations about her. Even in the end of the book, when she was apologizing, she still made it about her. When she was apologizing to a friend for doing a pretty messed up thing, she said, "I'm sorry I wasn't a good enough friend, that you felt you could not trust me with the truth." Like, how is that even an apology? And the cherry on top, this book is super nationalist. I feel like the author has no idea what she was talking about when she describes certain people of different nationalities, and I came across a lot of comments that are completely untrue with regards to certain nationalities, and for me it was extremely frustrating. I wanted to put this book down so many times, but since it is the first book of our book club, I kind of felt that I needed to finish this book. I would never read anything by this author again. Thank you for watching.